One second, sorry. Deep. Scuffed, by the way. Is this gonna work? No, this isn't gonna work. Okay, 1 second, sorry about that. Twitch. That's light. Cool. So, I don't really know why I decided to choose this game specifically. It's like mainly because it's the first one I saw. Did you download that? Sorry. Uh, just making sure we good. Don't want to. By the way, this is intentional. I don't want to like leak anything. So okay, I think we're good now. Yeah. So this game. Let's just go into it.
Sombra is better.
Everything's good. No switch is being made. Okay, so Busan. So this is kind of a. I was about to say weird map, but then I realized I say that about every map. So Mecha Base is generally worse for Farah, because you kind of have like you have like four well, not four, you have several different like kind of pillars, but then you have point. So if this is point, and then you also have a very low skybox. And so the thing is, Farah can only really hang out around these two areas, and otherwise she gets destroyed by Widow because Widow has insane sight lines here. Like, um, sorry, um, like if we look at Cypher here, if there is a Pharah here, they're having a hard time because as soon as he pushes up, like, um, sorry, why is it not? As soon as he pushes up to like there, um, God damn it, get out of my thing. Um, then you have issues. Because you have sights over everywhere, and if they rotate around here, you just rotate that way, and otherwise he has basically complete sightlines there. Because there's no actual cover on the point for Farah, so that's why generally you don't run the Farah. Um, so these two comps. I don't know where to put this. No. Okay, so they're running Mirror. Um, Lucio, Sombra, Anna. Okay, so triple DPS, single tank, Anna Lucio. Okay, so and then same thing there. So what? So first thing, I'm kind of well, I mean, like one of the first things, like obviously I look at the entire comp first and see if it makes sense. But first thing I'm looking at is Chris on Lucio and Chara on Lucio. So they're on main support, obviously. Um, so the reason I look at that is because Lucio generally defines your comp, or Lucio or Mercy tend to define your style of comp. So you'll have like, um, so Lucio is close range. It means that you're getting kills in close range. That's the case in Goat. That's the case in um, Dive. That's the case in most comps. And like any comp which is focused on getting kills in close range has a Lucio. Any comp which is focused on getting kills in long range has a Mercy. Reason for that is it should be pretty obvious. Mercy has damage boost, which works at any range. She works best when she has incredible mobility for just herself, um, and she keeps people alive to do damage at long range. Whereas Lucio allows you to engage in close range because he allows you to speed boost into close range, and yeah, it means that you can't react, right? And if you don't have a Lucio, you walk into them, they walk backwards, or they walk into you, and then you try and walk into them, but they just keep walking forward because there's like no matter how much pressure you put on them, it's like they can just walk backwards and you can't engage on them. So that's the first thing I'm looking at. Second thing I'm looking at is the DPS, or like who's actually going to get kills. Um, who are you trying to build around? And in this situation, that's Tracer. Um, both sides, it's Tracer. reason for that is, well, so I say Tracer. It is primarily Tracer. There are, like, obviously you have help from everyone. Everyone here does damage. There is no mercy here. Everyone here gives their own spam. That's um. However, Tracer is the only one whose only focus is doing damage, and so that's who you're building around. Tracer, the one who can do the most damage, who can get the kills, who can um, do the most burst and survive throughout it all. So you're not really building around that, um, or in a sense you are, but like um, yes, you are. You are building around it. It's not the same as like Bastion or Farah in the like you've got every resource, or like Reinhardt in Goat, where you've got every resource focused into Reinhardt. Um, but it is the same tone of thing, right? Um, just want to check that this is good. This is showing. Um, cool, and this is working. Let's go. I just want to make sure I don't end up just talking and it turns out to be completely black screen. So, or is it completely black screen? No, it's not. I don't think. Okay, cool. Um, so okay. So Lucio and Tracer, we've just covered that. Lucio helps you push in, so he defines the comp, and Tracer actually gets skills. So how do you do that? So next thing I'm looking at is Hammond, main tank. Um, or I'm looking at everyone, but so firstly I'm going to look at Hammond. Hammond is, I don't want to say he's like Monkey, because although he is, he's different. I see a lot of people getting confused and just thinking Hammond is just a like Hammond is just Monkey. They're the same thing. No, they're not. They're very, very, very different. Um, Monkey is has a lot of survivability, or in Monkey can stay in an area for a while, and he's focused on isolation. He's very focused on isolation and actually getting the kills. Um, and I think probably the main thing is he's like a flank tank kind of thing. Um, if you play Hammond the way you play Monkey, you're probably going to die. Um, Hammond is very all in, very disruption focused, whereas Monkey is more damage, isolation focused. Um, and so probably the main thing is Monkey can play up, play far up for a much longer time. So what's his job in this comp? In this comp, he just wants to run in there, do damage, and be the front line. So be the person that annoys everyone. And he wants to dive on the most. Well, so this happens in every comp. You want to dive on the weakest individual. So in this situation, it's going to be Shu and Happy, most likely. Um, That's not necessarily the case though. If it might be Rio. If Rio messes up and Eileen hacks him, oh sorry, if Rio messes up and Apply hacks him, then you want to dive him. So he's just on disruption, attention, distraction, that kind of thing. And he has like if he knocks someone up in the air, chances are they're dead. And so he can isolate them, kind of like a Doomfist can. Um, and he can also engage from much longer ranges. In the you can see Rio kind of setting up, just getting that initial scouting, and then he can grapple onto one of these things, um, and dive here. So most fights are probably going to happen around this area. Then I'm leaving Sire Player. I'm leaving the Widow out of this for a second because I want to talk about that separately. Um, Now I'm going to talk about Hagapin because, like Anna, because and so Anna is very long fight focused. Like she will keep Swan up this entire time. And that's important because Swan doesn't have a shield. Because you want so you're playing quite a long fight, but if Swan is taking a load of damage throughout that, he's still gonna die, right? And people are going to be able to engage on that. So you want to make sure you've got enough pressure the entire time. So that's why you're running Anna instead of Zen, because you're not focused on instantly engaging. If you're running against goats, if you expected to be running against goats, you would want a Zen. But because you're expecting to be running against this, is you've likely scrimmed this map and expect it like this, you want Yana because otherwise you're just gonna get picked out. Reason why I say against goats you want a Zen is because you can actually hard dive them, um, and um, because you really you're going to suffer in taking space. Anna, like just having the Anna, you're not gonna have Hammond be able to hold. I think they're just gonna walk through you. Um, but because you're playing against this comp, which also has very poor space control technique, like ability to take space, um, it's fine, and you want this. Then apply hacks someone. Um, apply is in the so Sombra is in the back line, um, and pretty importantly, will hack Rio. Um, will be able to hack Hammond. So I mean, honestly, apply being a thing makes Rio's job very hard. Um, because if he gets hacked, then he dies very quickly. um, because side player hits like 1, 2 headshots, dead. Um, so in the engage, so way this fight's kind of gonna work is sorry, if you just want to take space. So oh wait, I still haven't talked about Widow. So the thing about the Widow matchup is you want a Widow to keep the other Widow happy. Hey, happy. um, okay. So thing about Widow is only countered by another Widow. If you don't have a Widow, then their Widow I'm saying Widow way too much, but their Widow has free sights on you. And in this comp, without shields, Shu is incredibly vulnerable, right? Um, Shu is incredibly vulnerable to that. And that's bad because as soon as you lose Shu, you also lose Rio. Um, so this is like the reason for one running Widow is basically just so that you can. It's like insurance. It's just provided I have a Widow, then nothing bad can happen to me as long as my Widow survives. No one's actually gonna kill the other Widow, or at least that's not what you want to happen. If someone kills the other Widow, then you're so dead. Like side player isn't going to be focusing on anyone other than Happy. If he focuses on anyone other than Happy, then Happy is gonna kill him. And if Happy kills him, like you need this Widow up the entire time. You're not gonna invest resources into him because Widow, like resources into Widow doesn't affect anything. It's like, um, but because you're running such a vulnerable comp, you need this because if side player dies here, Happy has free sight. If Happy dies, side player has free sight. So for this reason, this is why you might not see Rio getting shot. He might land a body shot initially, for like, but he's not going to do any more than that. If he does, I'm like, but until he, and so he's going to play super safe here because he knows he just needs to be in a position where if Happy overextends, he will be able to kill Happy. Um, so finally, let's start this. So let's see. So we've got Apply and BQB both flanking right now. We've probably got Hagapun probably moving with side player, I'd expect. Um, and then you've got Happy over this side. That is an Anna. Um, so BQB and Hopper are taking opposite sides, which is interesting. So BQB here, Hopper over here. Um, so why would Hopper take that position? Maybe he wants to scout, but they've already got scouting info on them. I'd say maybe so thing is here, BQB has a hard time. Uh, so Hopper is super far away, right? If his team dives early, then he's not going to be there to follow up right now. With the position Sai is taking, um, he's definitely not going to be able to. So I think BQB is taking this position because it means that he can engage on Shu much quicker. Um, and then you likely have Swan going main. Um, Cyplay's positioning here is kind of big, so he doesn't know where Happy is. So he thinks that Happy might be over there, and if Happy might be over there, then he wants to scout up from here, which is a safe position. but he loses this high ground advantage here. So I'm gonna let this play for a second. As said, he's like he only wants to know where Happy is. He doesn't care about anyone else. Um, so he's done that, and now so he's scouted out all of there, so he knows Happy is there. So if he lands this, then it's basically an instant win. I love this. Like, Jesus. Um, but he misjudges it. So we've got Chera and Lucio, Happy, cool. Rio positioning back here is okay. So what Charge want is Charge want to get onto the point later. Charge want to fight, dive them on the point because they don't care about the point right now. So they're playing super passive right now, which I don't like this. Um, because they've given up loads of space to Florida right now. Um, so you've got kind of a you like a kind of it's not a horseshoe, but you have on all of coast is controlled by Mayhem and all further back, and Rio isn't even Rio needs if he wants to Rio needs to be further up because even though the point isn't a thing yet, Florida have an advantage. I think optimally you want Sire like further back, just on bridge, because this is dangerous. If Happy lands this shot, this is very dangerous. Um, but Rio isn't capitalizing on it, so it doesn't really matter. Um, takes the shot, and so now he sees, okay, they're up there. I need to reposition, and then and so now he's just hiding because again he can't get taken out. If he gets taken out, he dies. And so now what's happening is they're preparing for this because they've seen. So Mayhem have seen. Okay, Rio is playing super passive. Swan can just go all the way up here, and push that. Like, there's nothing Charge can do about that. But Sai getting shot early sucks. Hey Mana, what's up? Um, and so now Sai's in a really poor position. He can't get shots, and it's also annoying for me because I can't see anything that's happening. Um, so now Hopper comes in, instantly recalls. So I just provide a small bit of pressure, but like, ah. So Florida have just dived. Looking at charges, just health bars, you can see that like they're suffering. So really, so I expect sorry, Swan is just abusing that. I don't know about side players play this fight. So I feel like he should have just pushed main. Um, because BQB was controlling coast. If he pushes main, he gives he forces Happy to play down here, play around her. Um, but um, and he makes sure that Happy can't just poke all the way up here, or anywhere here base. He's got sights all over there, all over there. So he forces him to play behind this thing. But right now, so uh, it's like too many people are making mistakes. Um, so now you've got Shu healing up Rio because he's taking the initial damage, and Florida can start taking point. Where was Hagafin? What happened? It's like, okay, so I can't see so much. Oh god. Um, so charge take the point. God damn it. Mayhem are forced to back off because they put too many resources early into expecting to kill people. BQB wins the fight against Hotbar over here. Now applies force to transcape because, and so now Rio can stay on the point for as long as he wants because he's just got all the kills. Then he goes back to Shu. Shu keeps him up. But where's Happy? Where was Happy there? So Rio gets nanoed. Happy's dead. Okay, I should have thoroughly noticed that, but so Happy dies. Rio goes, okay, Happy's dead. I need to contest Xayah player, because otherwise everyone dies. And so he does that twice, but now he has to retreat back to Shu. Now Xayah player gets kills on Hotbar because he's Xayah player and he's got free sights everywhere. He should be pushing further up because he should have taken bridge. I don't. There are better ways to take this engagement. So now Rio's just gonna push all the way up to bridge. No, sorry, not Rio. Swan. Swan gets attacked. And then he's forced back. Is my thingy working?
Finding positions because of her passive ability to see behind walls. She can actually convey a lot of information that way.
So EMP goes down. So
EMP going to be used by Apply. Eileen still building up one of his own. Seems like Apply's not really going to be finding much. Takes a short hop with the translocator. Getting topped back up. Will be able to survive and even forces Eileen back with the translocator of his own. Rio drops in the minefield. Chris going to get caught up in it. Swan trying to go into the back, but he gets locked down. Hack comes in. They heal deny him. Will be able to finish him off. That can make for another fast flip in the favor of the charge. I remember.
Not really sure what happened there.
Wrecking ball. Xayah now pushing forward.
Saya has the line of sight advantage now.
Okay, so Saya should be pushing further forward. Swan should be supporting him in that.
Because Eileen, or rather,
I'm not sure. Okay, so it looks like... Who is that? Is that BQB?
he doesn't know exactly
Oh,
where his
but
Eileen is
yeah, that is. Ah. They shouldn't be getting given this space. That's they should have up to there. Mayhem should. Like so now Swan gets hacked early. And so you don't have the ability to engage because, or at least you might try to, and then you're going to get bullied. So, okay, and so now, what happens? Play. Play comes in all the way over there with an EMP. But oh look, there's no one to follow up because Swan isn't in a position. And he's super low. So... And then also you have side play, and so everyone's pushing from a single angle. And they can just back off, because they haven't had... So this is why it's so important to have that instant, like, click when you have everyone diving. Because as soon as you don't have that, so let's say, first time something happens, they react to it. Then, second thing happens, like 2 seconds later. They've already reacted to the thing, so they've reacted to point number 1, and so they've done whatever they need to do to make sure they don't get caught up by thing number 2. So whereas if you have it like next to each other, click, then you have it, then you win. Here, like, Rhea is EMP'd, but he still has higher health, and BQB can't do enough in this comp without like the proper support and apply. So the thing is with the EMP, you often have to just teleport out instantly, where you have to play super passive outside it, because as soon as you use it, you're in the open. So here, he just had to teleport out. His Transcater was there. He just had to teleport out. He couldn't do anything. So now, you have no follow-up on this. Okay, so the thing is, about engagements, like, at any point in the game, the decision whether you can engage or can't engage, like, to fight, every fight is won or lost by knowing when you can, well, not every fight, but to win the fight, you have to know when can you engage, is like to have, so if you have 2 stages in the fight, set up, well, so you have scouting first, but we can ignore that because that's a whole other topic. So set up and engage. Set up, so let's say, so let's just assume it's like standard double sniper. You've got 3 points from which you're shooting from, or like this could be anything. This could be an Apex or whatever. Like, and so against this group team. So if you've got that set up, that means you can engage. So you want setup that gives you map control, because if you have map control, then you can apply more pressure because you have because they can't like move out of it. They have to move backwards, and you can just keep moving forwards. And if you've already, but map control is good basically. If you have control over the map and they don't, every time you're going to be able to hold that and you're going to be able to win because they have to commit resources into getting that map control and then doing stuff about it. So what I'm trying to say is the game is won. So based on who engages, like on people engaging when they have the setup. Like the game is won based on people being as offensive as they can be, as they can justifiably be, right? If you've got a monkey who dives in straight, yeah, you've engaged early, but if he doesn't have that support, then so let's say this main team, monkey dives in. If he doesn't have that support, then he's going to die. But if he does have that support, then he might win because and if the enemy are all grouped together, then you're going to win that most likely. Because you're playing in where you want to play, which is probably close range, and now you can do your thing, right? What happened here was Apply was more aggressive than he could have been with the support he had. BQP was forced to try his best as a side player, but he couldn't, right? And if you can't justify how aggressive you go, then you're going to get countered, right? Then they're going to punish you, and then they're going to counter engage on you. And this time, like, it's almost guaranteed they can be as aggressive as they want, right? Because you've committed resources into taking map control. Now they don't have to, well, like, they can commit to fighting you, but like, you've already taken the damage because you've accidentally put yourself in a position where they're doing more damage where you want to be, or where you're aiming to be. Like, so, like, you've just gone into enemy lines and just gotten destroyed.
Short hop with the translocator, getting topped back up, will be able to survive, and even forces Eileen back with the
So both have to teleport. So Chris dies to Rio.
translocator of his
Rio. Okay. Mines is just like a way to go more aggressive. To be honest, Mines is basically just map control. Like it's just pure map control, and then
his own. Rio
so who does what?
Widow matchup is actually super
Okay,
essential.
so Rio gets pressured out early. He can't. Sorry, no. Swan gets pressured out early. He can't engage. He can't use thingy.
a lot of information that way.
And then he gets punished very quickly. Ply gets low, Swan gets low. Everyone has to.
EMP going to be used by
Everyone's committed too much on side of Mayhem. Now, Eileen pushes Apply because they figured where he is. And what happens there? So you've got everyone. So all of Mayhem is here. So they're kind of open. Well, so now they know Eileen has EMP. So they're open. So what they're trying to do now is they're trying to just go as aggressive as possible to prevent that. Right? So they're kind of just relying on Hagapin being able to sleep Rio, which and Swan gets slept. But by this point the fight is lost. Because Eileen can just GMP and Hagapin's having a bit of a rough time. And so Swan is getting no support whatsoever. Like, so honestly the fight was won. Like, I don't like that split. Really. I don't think they could justify it. I think I don't know.
Of the charge. I remember Strong pushing forward here onto the point, getting ready to come through. Rio gonna get hacked. But we'll be okay. We'll survive.
The hack
comes in 35 to 43 at the moment.
And then, like, as you can see, like,
the star player for the Guangzhou charge, he is
Happy
absolutely
destroys everyone as soon as he gets given the space. That's the same with everyone. It's like
now currently a pulse bomb, so that's one thing that they could use here to slow down the push of the Mayhem. If you could find.
And so now they're doing it a lot better. It's like this is actually what needs to be happening, which is what Mayhem messed up. Mayhem needed to go all the way up here. They commit the resources to go all the way up. They should have finished the fight.
That backline pick or even stick it right on
and because they actually finished the fight,
up for Happy. Now going to be expiring, so now Mayhem can start pushing.
Go more aggressive and
forward again. Really have to show him of all Widowmakers in the league right now a lot of respect.
Ah, God. Eileen goes too far.
No EMP gonna be in the
too early. Probably no. I expect no one called to pull back here, which was the issue. And now EMP. So he's nanoed on the side of charge. But okay, BQB shouldn't be getting select really. So like currently, I'm just noticing a lot of really poor play from Swan on Hammond. He's not pushing up. He's going too far. His engages are messed up. He's not communicating properly. He's just it's just messy. And then he tries to engage like
Helps take down Swan.
I'm not sure if this is just a load of miscommunication or what, but
he gives Rio that extra boost of health to survive with the nano boost.
it's not
he
great.
controls the point. They're winning on all fronts right now. Happy line of sight control here, meaning he
Now
can
Happy
see
every
more than what side
oh
player can
god,
safely poke around to see.
don't get caught by Trace. Please.
He's even going to
Please,
flank here.
please,
Greedy,
no.
but it could
No.
pay off.
God,
Dangerously
oh
greedy.
my god.
Flies there. Scoops up the kill.
So that's way too aggressive for this comp. And now what will happen is side player has a completely open field. So Rio has to so he needs to commit onto side player because otherwise he's screwed. But it's the only thing in this comp which prevents
Major overextension.
Widow apart
for
from
that
another
Widowmaker.
Widow is
Eileen though here onto the point.
ham
EMP's
stuff.
still going to be ready to go, trying to hold that ear
and she managed to
for the overtime.
kill him,
Flip starting
which
to come
shouldn't
in, but
happen.
Hammond taken down. Rio able to find the kill.
So let's go back to that. So side player just decides to go up here. This is bad. Like you're still in the open. Shoe is still a thing. Long range still. Should be taking a wider angle. This is poor. It's like
The kill. Major overextension for that Widowmaker.
that's just embarrassing.
Eileen though here onto the point. EMP's still going to be ready to go, trying to hold that ear for the overtime. Flip starting to come in, but Hammond going to be taken down. Rio able to find the kill. BQB now under some fire. Hotbot has to recall. Dashes back, keeps himself alive. EMP comes in from above. Apply, trying to hack them out. Hotbot and Eileen both going to be hacked out here for the moment. Regain their abilities, push forward. Mantified Chris. BQB going to be taken down.
Now,
89%
by this point in the fight, it's like the fight's been decided.
here for the charge. Mayhem, can they get onto the point? No, just a little bit too late as he goes up with the pile drive.
Yeah.
This one cannot get there. The charge will take the first round on Busan. Now the
Maker player, but
I kind of want to. Okay, so I want to look at the next round.
in a lot of these fights, we're going to take a look at one of these sleeps again.
His perspective.
Look, he hit Rio, and then it's the
BQB was playing, so it says, you know what? I'm probably going to be the next target.
That was the exact time too when Swan came in for the engage. Did not work out.
Okay. So float. So this is normal float. Honestly, against triple DPS, I'd kind of expect you to go float because you just have well, so the issue with this comp is that it's very, very hard for you to hold anywhere because you don't have that support. It's like apply, BQB, Surfler. They're all damage characters. They're like they don't actually help you at the start of the fight much. But whereas, and so what that means is tanks suffer. Swan is going to suffer a lot because he just gets pressured out at the start of the fight. If Guangzhou take more space and hold that space, which they can very easily because they've got Zaya Bubble, Diva Matrix, Winston, everything invested into taking space at the start of the fight, which is the entire point of Goat. Then Florida can never actually take that initial space which they need, and you can just bully Swan out. I think one thing I do slightly question is the choice of Anna. Um, so why would you run Anna? I expect it's because they don't want to. It's so because Florida are only running Swan, and I don't think they want to be bullying Swan. I expect they want to be more focused on backline or so it's probably because they think they're running Anna. It's probably because Hagapen. Because if they're running Anna, then they can sustain, and so you need Rio to be able to hold the pillars. If it doesn't hold the pillar, then then you lose. So first thing I want to highlight is distance between Rio and the rest of the team. This needs to happen on Winston, and so they're already setting this up. Reason you do this is because Winston is so like Winston functions as a kind of distraction tank, and he's good at isolating in the engage, but he has poor stuff at the start of the fight. Same kind of thing with Hammond.
Very different style of 3-3 here. As it's this time Hagupun who gets the sleep.
That's cool.
Taking a nap, they get a nice shot.
So
they push up the top, but it's not going to be enough to finish them off.
okay, so what is already happening here is Florida have just managed to lose this background, which is poor. I don't think I think Happy probably should have bubbled that, but I don't know if they wanted to commit resources early in the fight.
Straight back.
Okay, so they just take it back. So Shu is over here. Like they should be pushed up a fair bit further. Where was Chara?
A little bit of a back and forth.
A very different style of 3-3 here. As it's this time Hagupun who gets the sleep.
So
Rio just going to be taking a nap.
I feel like you should just let that, just held that, because now.
Nice shot. So they push up the top, but it's not going to be enough.
Okay. So Guangzhou's main objective is just to hold out on the objective for longer than they can. Like right now, they're playing at a disadvantage because Mayhem can just don't really need to worry about the point.
Finish them off. Straight back up top, just trying.
Then Hopper gets hacked because Apply Um,
A little bit of a back and forth there with the enemy wrecking ball. Side player in the meantime. It's a shot on Achara. Tag on a Rio in the back.
and because Bears Guangzhou don't have a widow, they can't actually contest Carpe. So Carpe has a free
Tries to make the exit.
area.
Not gonna be able to find a kill.
Now Bears they've lost 2 people. There's
Cap comes in for the charge. Again, can they hold on to it? Mayhem still playing far forward.
nothing stopping them.
Looking to get this one through.
Ideally, a Saya player wants to kill Shu, but he's just unable.
So again, so you see this kind of just holding out on point for as long as possible. Like if Guangzhou was still on this comp, then they would be. Then Mayhem would have engaged instantly. Whereas what's actually happened is because Guangzhou have so much health on this point, and if they just walk into them, they will die. They're just Mayhem just waiting to bait out abilities, and
Got a chance.
Doesn't have the headshot. Shu playing around this corner.
and apply because he's been charging
The help body block.
EMP
Nano's
so
gonna be
quickly.
EMP hacks out 3. Rio gonna be taking a nap as the Nano goes in.
Doesn't take
BQP.
long. But again, applies EMPs have been
He's trying his
Looking to get this flip through.
ideally
bull.
a Saya player wants to kill Shu, but he's just unable
to apply over
to get
on
good line
coast.
of sight here. He's trying
Swan
his
dives
best.
in.
Dallas got a
I'm not
chance.
sure about
Doesn't have the
Swan's
headshot.
positioning. He's getting like this is way too much damage. He should really he should just be waiting. There's no point trying to engage her. Like the amount of discoordination in this team is in their dives is incredible for an
playing around
overall
this
streak
corner.
team. Rio gets healed up with Nano. Bubble. When did this bubble come in?
Good line of sight here. He's trying his best.
Bubble hasn't come in yet.
Dallas got a
Bubble hasn't come in
chance.
yet.
Doesn't have the headshot. Shu playing around this corner.
So it comes in just then. Okay. So it gets EMP'd out.
Help body block. Nano's gonna be coming through. Flip through.
Ideally, a Saya player wants to kill Shu, but he's just unable to get good
So
line of
Rio
sight
tries
here.
to
He's
dive in,
trying his
but
best.
apply
Dallas got a chance.
immediately
Doesn't
EMPs.
have the headshot. Shu playing around this corner.
How did that hit him?
Bit of help body block. Nano's gonna
In any case, so now they're entirely reliant on Rio getting work done over here. Rio contesting these two. Because as soon as Hagapan and Cyberplayer start moving out here, they've got, or onto the high ground, then they've got a free firing range. But however, BQB on his own can't actually do anything. Swan is nowhere to be seen because he's been feeding his ass off early in the fight, which
gonna be coming
like,
through. EMP
Jesus.
hacks out 3. Rio gonna be taking.
And as you can see, running a tracer into a widow, into a diva, Zaya, and Brig isn't a good idea, even when they're impede.
Get a nap as the Nano goes in. A BQP.
And that's why you need Swan not feeding. So actually, honestly, this is pretty good because Swan is relying so much on Hagapan, to keep them alive. Is my stream live or has it gone down? But he's relying so much on Hagapun to be alive, and that he just that as soon as Hagapun gets contested by Rio at all, even when it's just he gets slept immediately, it's like, and now Apply is wandering off in this like the amount of discoordination from Mayhem right now is
It's gonna be the first one to fall. Happy
incredible.
scooped up a kill. Now gonna be gone. Rio getting melted off screen. Was lower and lower, but it is still
Rio getting melted off screen.
Primarily showing up in the kill feed. They are the ones coming out on top.
Despite the double sleeps here from Hago, but it's just not enough. The Guangzhou charge both mobility
and so now Florida have gone, okay, they're running goats. Let's go goats.
Staying power.
There's play switching.
Whereas the Florida Mayhem can get Saya player into position to have that line of
Okay, so
sight.
they're not switching Hagapun. Why are they not switching Hagapun? Because they want to. Okay, so they're not switching Hagapun because the other team aren't running Zen. If the other team were running Zen, then they would. But because it's... Wait, what? They switched Rio to Ryan. Why are they running? Ah! One of them should be on, like... Go Goats, please. Like... This isn't even Goats, it's like Anna Goats. Why are you doing that?
Because
There's no one
risk every
switching.
time he exposes himself. He will swap
No,
now
they're
over to the
legit
Zario.
going around
This is worst
Anna
case
Goats.
scenario.
Okay, so thing about Anna Goats is
Scenario for the Mayhem. Side players not.
you just want to put all your resources into Ryan. You just want to keep Ryan up for as long as possible, and you can't actually kill them after you've like. I think it's very bad because you can't heal the shield, and because of that, shield gets melted. Like Ryan just stands at the corner, waiting to keep shield up. And here, it's like it's open space. Just but so basically, the main objective is to out-sustain the enemy, right?
Not a Zario player, but he has to play it here.
I don't like this comp is awkward.
Yeah, desperation.
Rio shouldn't have his shield up still. He should be getting bubbled and walking forward. And then Swan should get the same thing.
Rolling through 55.
So they use both their bubbles in immediate succession. Rio takes a load of spam. Why is he not getting bubbled? Why is Happy on the ground?
Charge. Rally's gonna be out from Eileen. Happy to farm up some energy and get that.
Why have you dropped that? Why have you dropped to the ground?
All online, 40% more to go.
Why are you What are you doing? Okay, so Hopper is...
Leaps and bounds ahead of Saya at the moment. Bomb's gonna go out and try to find...
What is... Okay, so...
Rally's gonna be out from Eileen. Is Happy to farm up some energy and get that all...
Okay, so let's just look at this for a second. So...
Online, 40% more.
They rotate around. Rio's taken initial spam, but it doesn't matter because they've got Shu healing them up. Hopper bombs from here, so but it doesn't really matter because Sireplay doesn't have grav. And so what that's trying to do is trying to split them so Guangzhou can push that. Doesn't do that though because
Leaps and bounds ahead
he
of
just
Saya at the
bubbles.
moment.
Wait, no, never mind, it does. Pushes that. They don't
Bomb's gonna go out.
need to bubble just yet. But now, why is Sideplay there?
And gained by the charge.
Sideplay,
Rally's
what
gonna
are
be
you
out from
doing?
Eileen. happy to farm up some energy and get that all online. 40% more to go.
Why are you on the low ground? There is a rhine. Sorry. Okay, was my mic super far away? Like, super far up for a second. Yeah, like, you don't need to... You need to be on the same level as your Rhine. Like, now Side player's sleepy over here, and so Swan is going to get bullied out of his mind. He doesn't even need to feed himself. Like... And what is even going on with the focus fight right now? So, what Guango should have done is just immediately turned around to the sleeping Xayah. Actually, no, they should have just pushed this. So Rio drops all the way down to he's over here. This is so messy. This is like below, like this is NA goat. Jesus. Why you all? Rio is screwed, as is Hot, but like you've got the point, but like at least try. Rio's getting bullied. He gets bubbled so you can push back through. Then he's also got Shu healing him up a load. Okay, so good thing about this is that Florida don't have Ana. Sorry, they don't have Zen. So they can't actually kill Rio. But they probably should have. Like, that was... Like, I don't really care. You should be able to believe this. And also, okay, and so now, thank God, Hagapin switches to Zen. So, Florida should win this, basically automatically. Because they can just bully Rio, and they can bully him quickly, because no one can, like, heal through Zen. Why is it gone down to... I want it back to 720p.
He's feeling it. They lock him up with the graviton surge sound.
Okay, what are these ultimates? Let's...
So that's the biggest tool, their biggest option to
okay.
engage on the point.
Thank you.
Because he's not even there yet,
good quality.
In the next 15 seconds when they need it.
So let's just look at these ults. Full ATP. Let's go. Lucio, Brig. They don't have Zen. Xayah's going to get charged pretty quickly, and they do have... this isn't going to get charged quickly, though. This is going to take a while to charge, because they don't have Ana. So, we can basically just ignore that. So, apply Chris and BKB. Meanwhile, Guangzhou have that, and that. So firstly, we're going to ignore this because they're basically equal and they just cancel each other out. It doesn't really matter that it's Zen versus Anagoats because they just counter each other. Like the ults are just, hey, you survive a bit longer. And so it matters if one side has it and the other doesn't, but it just means, hey, you can survive a bit longer in the poke phase. So Important thing. Cyclones one don't have anything. That's important because Happy is going to grab. Shua's going to nano to keep Rio in the fight while he's swinging to grab. Then Rio, as soon as he gets an opening, as soon as enough resources have been committed that he can shatter and get everyone, he's going to shatter. And then the only thing, so the way Florida want to play this, because they can win this fight if they play it correctly, is they want to just go as aggressive as possible. So they want to initially, so firstly, they don't want to play like this. Because 88%, this is the last fight. They shouldn't be dropping down this early. They should be just up here, spamming. BQB gets ult, Chris gets ult. Then they go as aggressive as possible, bully Rio, because they can burst through Rio. They have an advantage here. Abuse it. What they don't want to happen is for them just to stand here, get out sustained, and die to grab. So they're recap, what are they doing? They are standing here, they are spamming, they get grabbed, they get... Oh, don't beat grab for the love of God. Okay, so... two things. So, shatter. Beat. Grav. Trans. That's the thing. Don't trans shatter. And don't grav beat grav. Reason being, grav is a setup ultimate. So grav happens start fight. They spam you. Spam. They grab you. They force you to use resources. But the thing is, you're just stationary. So like you're still fully capable of using bubble and everything like that. Like you shouldn't really be doing this. Like, and then shatter is a finishing ultimate, and if you transit, like you can't actually do anything. So the reason why you transgraph is because otherwise Zen will die, and it forces them backwards. Beat doesn't do that because they can keep going into you. That sounds bad. They can keep pushing into you. Whatever, and it's like Beat is very bad at keeping you alive over the long time, the relatively long time, which is grab. Like, so now you see this, and so this is a setup ultimate. Remember, look, Rio is going to shatter. Gets BQB. Oh look, there isn't a setup ultimate. Why is Hopper over here? Why is Hopper pushing that? That's bad. He you shouldn't be committing that early. That's that's poor. Chara wants to be further up. Chara wants to be here. He doesn't want to be there. This is useless. He wants to be booping Swan. Alright, Hopper pushing that far means he's about to get out of Meg. He almost has bomb. This is going to be useful. You just want to push from the side, then engage later. And now, look what happens. You've just... So, they just have to, like... it doesn't matter because they're winning the fight, but, like... minor things that will lose you the fights in other games. And so now, very easy. But it doesn't matter. Nothing here matters.
Look to close out Busan with a 2-0. And they've got it.
They've got it. So that's it. Hopefully that was helpful some way. Let's go, dude.